Little bit, little bit. We're back with another Thriving Artist Art Life short. Today is it April 1st? I think it's April 1st. And we're here to talk about calendar. It is start now 2020. That means you start on your next step or move on to the next step, or you start the first step. Whatever it is, whatever your goals are, you need to start working on those now, little by little. That's right, little bit, little bit, little bit, little by little. So if you remember, we've been talking about setting a vision, having a list of goals, and then planning and strategy, right? So it all starts at the first step, which is the last step that we discussed. And it's the last step to figure out, because the first step is to have a vision. You need to know what you plan to do. Where do you see yourself when you are, when you've reached your goal, one of your goals, or one of your main goals, or the vision that you have for yourself? How do you see yourself? And that's where it starts. How do you see yourself? So the examples that we've used were doing a marathon, right? You need to see and visualize yourself going through the finish line. Cool. Well, that's the vision. The goals were getting into shape, eating right, hitting a certain amount of a distance for a certain amount of time, so that you can prepare yourself to get to that finish line, right? So you have to work your way through that. That's the goal. So the planning is, well, how are you going to get in shape? How are you going to eat? What is the diet you're going to have? What is the training program that you're going to follow, so that you can prepare yourself to reach your goals, so that your goals line up, so that you can hit your vision. And so when you're looking at it realistically as your calendar, okay, well, what is it that you're going to do with your calendar to make sure that that you then can follow your plan and then reach your goals? And there was something that I just saw recently. So I've been looking at, well, I'll get to that in a minute. In any case, so what happens is, now we have to look realistically at a calendar to see, well, where is it that I'm going to put in all this training into my calendar to make sure that I'm ready to follow my plan, so that I can hit my goals and then see my vision realized. And that's the real life thing that we have to look at every day. We have to look at our calendar, look at our dates, and then be ready to block out times, certain days of the week, certain weeks of the month, to then work on our plan. So if you're training for a marathon, that means that you're taking the time to run certain amount or a days a week, and then you might start off. Not every week is gonna be the same. Some weeks you may start off. Hold up, I need that. Some weeks you may start off with easy. Some weeks you may start off running 1 or twice a week. Then as time goes on, you're gonna dedicate 3 to 4 days a week, and then you're gonna do every day of the week, and it's gonna become so easy to reach your goal, because you have been training. You've been training, following your plan to reach your goals, to get to your vision. Okay, but I need to say what I need to say. So here you go. Use this. And so, okay. So how does that translate? Football. I was talking about the football example, right? So football players, they plan. They have goals to get to the end zone. They work through those goals. They outline which goals they're going to hit. They set up a plan to reach those goals. That may be defense, offense, depending on the position you're going to play, and so on, right? And then you put it into practice, and that's where the practice field comes into play. You're there. You're setting up the times. They call 2-a-days or something like that, because you're on the field several times a day doing certain things, and training, so that you're ready for the day you get on the football field. So that is how we work on, as an artist, we work on our calendar. We have to look at our calendar and know not every day you're going to spend it drawing, not every day you're going to spend it working on your portfolio. But if you remember what it was, The vision is to have an office, a warehouse, a space of some kind. The goal is to have two sets of amounts of money to pay rent at home and to pay rent at the new space. And then the planning is that, well, I got to work on my portfolio so I can find my clients that are going to want this kind of work, that can pay me that kind of money, that is going to be able to afford home and office rent. Well, that's cool. So then the first thing you do is like, well, what is the first things that I need to worry about? What is the first things that I need to worry about when it comes to working on my portfolio? You know, and then that's when you start setting your portfolio days into your week. That's when you do your social media days into your week. That's when you set the drawing days into your week. And just like my calendar right now is the same way as it's always been. I just refined it, cleaned it up, and try to block out times for certain things. Certain days of the week are for certain things. And it's not the same every day or every week. It's not the same day every week. I kind of mix it around, move it around so that I can fit in work that I need to do, especially right now since a lot of it is online. I'm trying to see what is our time looks like. So with a lot of art work online, then in today's world, I have to then be around for certain things and go live or record, etc. So I have to sometimes adjust the times that I set for myself. But the fact is that we have to look at our calendar, look at the things that we're going to do, that we want to accomplish. Look at the things that we want to accomplish, the plans that we want to set in motion. And that's why starting out 2020 is very important, because now is the time to start looking at that calendar, looking at the days, looking at the hours, and trying to figure out where can you fit certain things. Last thing I want to touch on is that, see if you can look at that back there. I was watching the series of Mics and Men. Yep, Wu-Tang Clan of Mics and Men. And if you watch it, the first thing you're going to notice in the first episode is how much time they dedicated and they put into their talent, into the studio, into producing the work that they wanted to take over the world with, right? Just because you have a skill or a talent doesn't mean that the world's going to pay attention to you. You got to put together a project. You got to put together an album. You have to work together as a unit, and you have to spend a lot of time together. That's where the calendar comes into play. That's why when we say professional artists like myself who've been doing it for 20 years say practice, 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 or put in the work, or you got to dedicate yourself and dedicate your time. That's what it means. And that's what I noticed in the first episode, is that we have to put in a lot of time into our art, into our talent, into the business. And we have to do it realistically in a way where we look at the calendar, you look at your days, and you start blocking out times. It's very tough to follow an artist's career. It's very tough to be an artist. However, it is some people some people find it very difficult to have a full-time job, have a family, and then give it their all to the art career. Okay, hold on, let go of that. So that is the all I have to share with you today. Okay. Yeah, show the world. So that's all I have for you today. Check out Artist King on YouTube, and I'll see you next time. Delta Tango Mike. Peace out. And that's Rain Daniela.